Going back to where I started, and if this video is short, I basically have to go back in my house because it might be raining, but Lord willing, it doesn't rain. But want to talk about this, and also want to start this off quoting from the Bible, and it says in Habakkuk that or have or I hope I pronounced that right. It says in the Bible that God will do something that even if you were told, you will not believe. You won't. I will do something in your time that not even you will believe, even if you were told. And it also says in the Bible, Hosea 4:6, and these are verses that I've memorized by heart because they mean a lot to me, um, that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I would suggest that, since I've said that, I would suggest that basically now with my channel, you click the notification button and everything. And also, I've also found this out that also thumbs up, all that good stuff. But I've also been finding out from people that I follow, like Clownfish TV, that basically if you don't interact with my page, you basically can get no notifications. They unsubscribe you and all this other stuff, even though I only have like almost 200 people following me. So that also would highly advise for you to go to my community post. You follow my community post and what I post. I wouldn't sit here and say that I post every single day, but there's that Terminator stuff that I've talked about on my community post, and then there's also that video about basically glitches in the Matrix, which are 100% real. Only watched a couple of it. Watched a couple of it. So I can't sit there and tell you what's fake and what's not, but those are real experiences. That and what else was there? I want to start off with saying this, that what I'm about to sit here and tell you, I actually got approval from God this week, of approving this. And I'm about to say something that, I'm about to say something that there's a reason why I posted that glitch in the Matrix stuff on my community post, because what I'm about to sit here and tell you is absolutely 100% real. I don't care if people deem that I'm crazy. I don't care if people deem that like I'm some false prophet or whatever the case it is. Even though technically I've talked about, I said something 4 months about the truth about what's really going to happen. God also put that video in my dream, and I'll repost that on my community post so you can see it. But when I prophesied that, and not prophesied that, but when I just basically came out and said that all these experiences that I'm having with meeting myself, going to different dimensions, and now apparently, not last year, but last month in January, there's a freaking hole in the sky in Switzerland. I am dead smack right of everything I've been talking about. So I want to say that. And also, that, and yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'll also suggest that if you cannot fully watch this whole thing, that you come back and you fully watch this, because it's also that you fully watch this now, or because this video might be gone or it might be terminated randomly without me knowing, or something, or something could happen. So getting into this. So, all right. So I have this written down. Okay. So, I've talked about this stuff before, about how we're merging. Well, actually, let me say this. Like something out of a Doctor Strange movie. Last year, I met another version of myself. And another version of me is a celebrity. I've talked about this stuff before. If you go on my community post, I post something basically where it talks about them ranking the different versions of Harrison Welsh. You need to watch that video, by the way. And I shared that. That's from somebody that's a comic book channel. This stuff is a lot bigger, and ain't really something I would expect an average person to wrap their head around, which is why I want you to go to God about this. But as they've been showing these movies and whatnot, which I've been putting in my community posts, there are different versions of us that exist in multiple realities. There are dimensions that are right next to us that we don't know about, and there are versions of us that are famous, along with some of these celebrities that also, to my knowledge, exist in different dimensions. So another version of me, who is a celebrity, is famous, that God basically told me that I'm going to be merging with this person. And this stuff, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this stuff. But God told me a long time ago, well, another version of me told me a long time ago that, let me explain this. I had a dream. I was running. I got out the studio. This is another version of me. I got out the studio, and they tried killing him. I'm not going to sit here and name. I'm going to name celebrities in this video, but I'm not going to name celebrities like that. But a celebrity tried, even though he was on the news recently, but whatever. A celebrity, as soon as another version of me got out of the studio, they tried killing him, and he was running, and he was writing down on a notepad, and it said that our dimensions are merging. And right then and there, like something out of a Doctor Strange movie, like the first 5 minutes of the Doctor Strange movie without the intro, I saved his life. The celebrity that basically tried to kill him, I basically chopped him in half, and I saved his life, and that was it. And pretty much in that dream, I told God, because I had to do something. I wasn't about to let another version of me die off. And God let me do that. And God doesn't let me do a lot of things in my dreams. But point is, so I chopped this celebrity in half, and basically I saved his life. After I saved his life, which is why I wanted everybody to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, I basically asked God, I said, is there a version of me that can skate? And because I can't skate to save my life. And God said, yeah. I thought about that person, and immediately I started skating in my dream. It's weird. I can't explain this stuff. He told me that our dimensions are merging 4 months ago. And if I remember correctly, I didn't post this on YouTube, because there's a lot of things I don't post on YouTube, even though I think I should post them on YouTube. Didn't do that. And 4 months later, exactly now 5 months ago, now there was a giant hole in the sky, a portal in Switzerland where CERN is at. And you got to follow me with this. Just bear with me for a minute. And so I want to sit here and tell you about what I'm about to tell you is absolutely probably going to freak you out, but I wouldn't say freak you out, but it's actually going to catch you off guard. So I just want to come out and sit here and say this stuff. So basically, like in the Spider-Verse movie, I've basically been glitching. Let me put it that way. I've had multiple experiences where basically I wake up in my room and I'm glitching. As in literally, like, I see like glitches like how they have in the Spider-Verse. I'm legit glitching, and I'm not making this up. This isn't being something that's blown out my butthole, none of this stuff. I'm actually being real. And I'm also about to sit here and say something. There's that. And I've also had multiple experiences from like also my videos where basically I've been going to sleep, and God told me this last year or 2 years ago that you will go to sleep and wake up somewhere new. I've been going to sleep and I've been waking up in different places. And different places, I mean different dimensions. And it's not my room. So I remember I had this experience where basically I was asleep in my room. Actually, before I go off on this list on my paper, I was asleep in my room, and literally I woke up in the future, and there was a giant stone monument in front of my room, like how Mount Rushmore, where they have like the faces of the presidents. And also there's another experience where I went to sleep in my room, and I'm in my room sleeping, but outside of my room, I'm like somewhere else. I don't know, it's like weird. I'm like somewhere else, and there's another version of me with a celebrity talking, saying, hey, he's asleep, or whatever the case it is. And this is real. I'm not making this up. I've also talked about before my brother tried killing me and my mom, I met another version of myself while I was in the back of an Uber, and I was conscious, wasn't awake. I don't do drugs. Everybody knows that I don't do drugs. And this happened. I also, that same day, when I met another version of myself, before my brother tried killing me, I saw a stairway to heaven right where my house is at. So I'm not making this up. But going into this, there's that. And then also to my recent experience, Mother of God, what was it? So I went to sleep last week, and I've been having these back to back, because last year, I'm getting to the point of this. Last year, I kept having superhero dreams, nothing but superpower dreams and everything. Now all I'm having is nothing but dimension dreams, and I've had these about 5, 6, 7 times in a row, starting from basically last week Wednesday to currently now. And basically recently, and this happened to me last week, my recent experience is that I was merging into another reality. And when I sit here and say that I was merging into another reality, I disappeared from my room. I just vanished from my room. I was in another dimension somewhere else, and I saw percentages in my head. I was about 70, 80% complete and almost merging with that dimension. And to put emphasis on this, if you don't know what's going on in my personal life, my mom has the mark of the beast. My mom also is going to turn into a zombie. Is going to die. My oldest brother is possessed. Tried killing me. My mom, don't talk to him anymore. And my older brother, he struggles with suicide. So when God put me in this dimension, basically to put you on what I experienced, basically my older brother had killed himself. Something happened with my mom, and I left a note for my oldest brother saying, I love you, or whatever the case it is, and that was it. And basically, I was in that dimension. And right when I dead smack saw my older brother's, his tombstone, I literally saw another version of my older brother, but he was an intellectual. It was the same person. This is the same freaking person. And he's sitting in the chair, and he tells me, why are you going back there? You don't belong there. That happened. And this is just this one experience, because a lot was going on. And God also sat there and told me, since God is loving and kind, and he said that, are you sure you want to go back? And I said, yeah, because my older brother had passed away. He had killed himself and he had died. And also going to sit here and say, I don't know if that's actually going to happen or whatever the case is, but this is an experience. And so that happened. While also at the same time, while I'm uploading in this world or whatever the case it is, I have a shelf in my room. And God told me a long time ago, last year, a couple years ago, that when the whole shift change thing happens, my bookshelf is going to go with me. And I saw people carrying my bookshelf in this dimension, and it was there. They were saying that, wow, this is heavy. Like, you got a lot of stuff to read. And also I saw people that I don't really talk to in this dimension that I was friends with over there. And then also I saw a giant map in my head, a literal map to another world in my mind. And God told me in my mind that this whole shift change thing that I was talking about, basically was supposed to been happen, but there are versions of me basically that are dying off. And then, that also gets into basically people getting right with God and all that other stuff. So that happened, and I'm trying to sit here and think what else it was. That happened. And to backtrack, I also had another. So that experience alone, I basically disappeared, just left, and was somewhere else. And it just happened in the blink of an eye when I went to sleep, and which means God keeps true on his promise. There also was another incident that I didn't write down on my paper, where I talked about. I told somebody over the phone. I told them that basically I went to sleep one day. I'm trying to remember this. God, let me remember this. I went to sleep one day, and I woke up in also another dimension. It was like another dimension or a dream or whatever the case it was. It was like a corporate building. I walked into the building, and everybody knew my name, who I was, and I was teaching people how to play the guitar. And I had a cape over me, like a red cape, like I was a king or something. And I saw my mom, but another version of my mom, not my current mom, but another version of my mom, and she serves me. And that was pretty much it. And then also, when that event happened, I took a deep breath, and it was like God was just taking me over there, and that was it. I just took a deep breath. It was time for me to leave, and that was it. And also, I forgot, not this experience I just told you about, the other one, because I'm going freaking everywhere. My bookshelf came with me, and I also saw, I got images and stuff from my clothing line that I have on my Redbubble. The images and stuff, the data on my flash drive, basically being put on my flash drive. I have a thing, basically a fireproof safe, a water and fireproof safe that basically was basically being merged into that dimension, and also my books were being merged into that dimension. All of it, basically. And that was pretty much it. So that happened to me recently. And then, so this experience. I'm going on to the next experience. This experience happened to me, mother of God. And I went to sleep, once again, went to sleep. This is in a dream and an experience. And I went to sleep, and what was it? I was in a car. I saw another version of myself. Once again, saw another version of myself. I was sitting on the dashboard, and I saw a friend I don't talk to in real life, and I don't talk to his girlfriend because he's dating this chick that we've known since high school. But my friend, I'm gonna just say his name. My friend Angel. I went to sleep, was sitting on the dashboard, and sitting in the back seat was another version of me. I've talked about how basically before, when you meet yourself, like this giant ripple effect happens and stuff starts disappearing or whatever the case it is. I sat there, I basically leaned forward, and I sat there and I said, "Oh my God, it's you. Don't touch me." Because I knew something was going to happen if we both touched each other. So he didn't touch me, and knowing me, he listened and whatnot, even though I got like flamboyant vibes from him, but whatever. And the person who was driving was my friend Angel, and his girlfriend named Destiny. Don't talk to either of these people in real life. And so he's driving, and they're spooked, and then they're spooked out because they're saying like, "Oh my God, it's you!" Like, yo, what? And basically, this is how I got like approved. Basically, God saying of basically God telling me that go ahead and say it. And so I'm talking to them, sitting on the dashboard because I didn't get in the back seat, and you just have to visualize this because we're in a car. And I'm sitting on the dashboard, and he's driving on the highway, whatever the case it is. And he pulls out his phone, and his phone looks exactly like mine. And he's watching a video, and I tell him to go on my YouTube channel pops up, and the title of it was basically the truth about what's really going to happen. That title of that popped up, and then also, so I guess we watched that, and then what also happened was, while he's watching his phone while he's driving, there's a video of me. I don't know if this is going to happen in the future or what. There's a video of me basically talking, and I was sitting in the car recording, live streaming on YouTube. And currently, I've only done 2 live streams, so I barely live stream like that. And this is my second one. And I'm talking, live streaming, and I just flat out just disappear for a second, and then I come back on camera, and I'm still talking, and I didn't notice. And that got news. God showed me that when that happens, or when something like that happens, that got news. And I was all over the news, and it said something around the means of man disappears, then reappears on YouTube channel. And it made local news. Then we skipped to another video. There's another version of me in Walmart talking, live streaming, and he was in Walmart. And he started glitching. He didn't disappear. He started glitching like how they glitch in the Spider-Verse movie that came out last year, a couple of years ago. And that happened. As soon as I sat there and I showed all 3 of them that, because, one of them is me, basically, the Men in Black pull up. And it was almost like a drive-by. They pull up and wearing black suits and everything. And it was like they had like this long cannon, and they were pulling up, shooting at the car, and they knew I was an anomaly in the car, and they had like this cannon that sort of could basically like sort of wipe your memory or something. I guess it works different in different dimensions. But then they basically, God just pushed them away, then they just vanished. That was it. That happened, and then his girlfriend, basically another version of his girlfriend, I guess she was freaking out or whatever the case it is. She didn't pull the steering wheel, but she pulled the stick out of the car. I guess it wasn't a stick shift car. It was basically, the reverse mother of God. The stick shift, basically where you could reverse, park, and drive. She pulled that out. And then right as she pulled that out, basically the car went from being a 2-seater to like a 3-seater. So I don't know. The car started turning all futuristic and stuff. And then as I'm talking to them while all this stuff is happening, we start transforming. This is probably where I'm going to lose everybody. And we start, and then this is only what I'm delaying what God wants me to say. We start transforming, and we started wearing basically, we started transforming into, ironically, Power Ranger outfits. And as soon as I found that out, I can't sit here and tell you what color I was and everything, but as soon as I found that out, and my dream, I basically said, I basically flew out of the car, literally like just skyrocket out the car, and there was a hole in the car, and I flew, and basically I found out that like the Power Rangers were real, and I guess it's like a metaphor for something like the 144,000, stuff is about to happen and whatnot. And so as soon as I flew out the car, I basically started giving high fives to people in Power Ranger outfits. And to just give people some background on this, the Power Rangers have been around since basically the 60s or the 70s, because they didn't start bringing the Power Rangers over here until like the 90s and the 2000s. I know that because I'm a Power Ranger fan. And I started high-fiving them and everything. You know how basically when people are in lines, one line to the left, one line to the right, I started high-fiving them with my hands in the air, and they said congratulations, number 66, because I've said before in previous videos years ago that like God told me I was part of the 144,000, and I was like at 1,000 something. I actually went up. I don't talk about this stuff because I really don't care and boast about this stuff. But I went from like 1,000 something to, I think I went to like 666, which then that, and then now I'm at the number 66. So, and they literally dead smack said that, and that's God confirming that you're at number 66. And God, the backtrack, God told me that you could be at number 33 or 44, but you're struggling with what you're struggling with. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about what I'm struggling with, in my personal life, because that's just weird and awkward. Don't want nobody in my business. And so they said, congratulations, number 66. And I saw a woman in a Yellow Ranger outfit, and I hugged her. And I guess that's basically just a metaphor, or literally a representation for that God had, when the whole shift change thing happens, and when the whole 144,000 thing happens officially, that God had somebody for me, and that's it. So hug this person in a Ranger outfit, and I was also in a Ranger outfit, and basically I saw number 2, and number 2 basically looked like my friend Angel, but it wasn't the Angel that I knew in the car. This is where I'm probably gonna lose people. It wasn't the Angel that I knew in the car, and it wasn't the Angel that I knew in real life. It was somebody that I knew. It was, I guess, like I got vibes that was somebody from like a different dimension or something. I don't know. But he literally looked like the person that I knew, and he pretty much, I got vibes from him that he was a a-hole. And I was crying, and they were saying, the number 2 was saying, why is he crying? And, and somebody sat there and said, oh, because he have a connection with the Angel in his dimension and whatnot. So there's that. That happened. That happened. What else happened? That happened in my dream. And then I also had, I'm not going to even talk about the other stuff, because some of the other stuff is pretty much irrelevant to what I want to sit here and say. But that happened, and then I also was like in a different dimension where I was like playing go-kart or something and playing the guitar and whatnot, and I basically, women were dropping because I was so fancy at playing the guitar. I could do all these other things and whatnot. It wasn't anything sexual and whatnot, but my guitar was futuristic, and every time I basically played my fingers on the guitar, I guess the guitar was so futuristic that it could pay attention to the patterns that you do with your fingers and whatnot. But there's that. So the rest of it is irrelevant. I had just like superpower dreams and all this other stuff. And then recently wanted to emphasize and stop and hold on that, because that same day God gave me like 5 or 6 experiences. That's also the same day where Sam Smith basically was playing the devil, wearing a red outfit, red horns, and all this other stuff, which I could care less about. And I'll get into that towards the end of the video. I gotta write this down, actually. Hold on. Okay, yeah. And so, That, and then also too, I've also been having dreams about different versions of celebrities. And even though God told me, God and other versions of of myself, which basically you just say God, because God lives in them. Um, well, not all of them, but specifically the ones that I've seen. Um, I've been seeing different versions of celebrities. I'm not friends with celebrities in real life. I've met certain celebrities, and I have like a gallery of celebrities that I've met, like Tom Welling from Smallville, Michael Rosenbaum, Tara Strong, all that other stuff. I'm not going to bore you to death with that. But I'm not friends with celebrities in real life in this dimension. Before I go on, I want to sit here and say that I don't know if I'm going to say this towards the end of the video or what, but something weird is going on with these celebrities, because pay attention to your favorite celebrity if you have one, because I don't know where I was going to incorporate this within the video and whatnot, but Tina Turner was supposedly it's 83 years old. Tina Turner was supposed to supposedly have died years ago, and someone notified me on this. But Tina Turner is alive in our world. Then there's also the fact of Meatloaf. Meatloaf has died 2 or 3 times. There's Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean died when I was in middle school, or when I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. I'm 27. And Mr. Bean is still alive. There's the white dude from The Price is Right, where Drew Carey, not Jim Carrey, but Drew Carey, I think that's his name, getting old. And basically, he replaced him, and he's celebrating his 90th birthday when originally he died. I remember him dying. Want to sit here and emphasize that, because something I personally believe that since we're going from dimension to dimension, we're seeing celebrities that were supposedly supposed to be dead, that are currently now alive. Want to sit here and come out and say that Michael Jackson, and also pay attention to basically if a mainstream song and how the lyrics have changed. That's probably because that's probably not the same celebrity, or if that is the same quote unquote celebrity, and if they haven't been replaced or cloned or whatever the case it is, that's probably like another celebrity or something. I don't know. But if they're dead, it could be a high possibility that celebrity that wrote those lyrics has passed on, and you're just hearing their version of those lyrics, if that makes a lick of sense. Because God sat here and told me, because I think it was Thriller. I think it was the song by Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. God sat there and told me where the original Michael Jackson died of an overdose and they killed him. Another version of a Michael Jackson, killed himself. So there you go. And then if you actually do look this up, it does say currently, as of right now, that Michael Jackson died from an overdose. But, stuff is glitching in the dimensions we're going through and all this other stuff. So that because I got to incorporate this in somewhere, then I got to get back to this list I'm talking about. There's that. And I've also had dreams basically about how I go to another dimension, and I guess I see Bernie Mac is alive. And Bernie Mac, if you don't know who Bernie Mac is, he's one of the kings of comedy. He's friends with D.L. Hewley, Cedric the Entertainer, and Steve Harvey. I had a dream, and I don't think about Bernie Mac, and I need to emphasize on this. I don't think about celebrities at all whatsoever when I go to sleep. I have a go to sleep with a clear mind. I had a dream that Bernie Mac came back to life. I'm not making this up. Bernie Mac touched me, literally. I was talking to Bernie Mac, and Bernie Mac was alive. I had about maybe like 2 or 3 dreams of basically Bernie Mac being alive. Just want to emphasize on that. So I'd pay attention to that celebrity if I were you, because I know I am. And so I don't know if that God was saying that Bernie Mac is actually, we're going to go to a dimension where Bernie Mac is still alive, or I'm just going to go to a dimension where Bernie Mac is still alive, because, total difference, or something. And so and so I had to incorporate that, or if that was just a metaphor for basically there are celebrities that were supposedly dead in our dimension that are going to be coming back to life. And so there you go. So I had to incorporate that somewhere. But this next dream is probably going to like throw you off or whatever. But like how I've said, I've been having dreams about celebrities. One of my favorite rappers is Jay Quan, Jkwon, Jay Quan. You can look him up. And I guess this is like another version of the celebrity or what, because I started telling him about Jermaine Dupri. If you don't know about Jermaine Dupri, I'm not going to sit here and talk about him because, for legal reasons. But Jermaine Dupri has done some satanic stuff. I had this dream where I was talking to Jaquan, and I was telling him about what Jermaine Dupri did and how basically he's evil and all this other stuff. He actually is. And I was telling him about that, and basically Jaquan gave me, this is bright as day, and I don't think about this person, gave me CDs to upload to YouTube in case something happens to him, books, and a documentary, and I think like a flash drive in case something happens to him. Now, this is where I'm going to throw people off, but I don't know, I don't have these type of dreams. That started happening as soon as that happened, and he gave me stuff because I was friends with him and his homies. Basically, people started getting shot at and everything. Somebody had a gun, started shooting at people, and then randomly these giant blue blobs or whatever appeared, like something from like the Blob or whatever, start taking people randomly for no reason. I told somebody this, and I said, like, I don't have no idea what this means. They started taking people randomly out of nowhere. It wasn't black goo. It was like these blue blobs. They just started attacking people, and they took Jaquan, they took Jermaine Dupri, they took his homies or whatever, and a message was basically being delivered, and this is where I got to sit here and tell people, a message was being delivered that apparently was important, and one of his homies basically, I guess, went downstairs or something, and it was delayed that the information was important, and then the dream ended, but how the dream ended was basically, it was a letter that was sent to my mom. I'm not going to say my mom's name. My mom's first and last name, and it had an apartment number. And that was where the dream ended. And then randomly, out of nowhere, some dude, and this is actually like a couple days ago, some dude comes to our house, says that basically, because I talked about how my mom's house is in foreclosure, all this other stuff, tried doing a GoFundMe. Well, got that situated just for us to find out that they sold our house, which was completely legal in Georgia. So our house was in foreclosure. And some dude comes up to my mom at around like at 2 something and says that he bought our house in court. And he buys our house in court. And my mom says he's not going to let him in the house, obviously. And then the dude has to come back with the notice and everything. And now basically we have to go back to apartments. Now, I find that real odd compared for the fact that I had this dream, this random dream that felt clear, bright as day, as if I was talking to Jaquan and everything and Jermaine Dupri. How at the end of my dream, a note was left with my mom's first and last name, and it was an apartment number. And lo and behold, some dude says that he buys our house, and now we got to go back to an apartments. I don't really think, like, in my realm of possibility, that doesn't just happen like that. But continuing on, and also to emphasize what happened in that dream, I heard a voice that sat there and said that, to quote this, in air quotes, he has no idea why he's being protected. So, and there was nothing demonic about nothing demonic that I got from that dream. But then I had a Rhea Ripley dream. If you know who Rhea Ripley is, she's part of the WWE. And I'm not going to even talk about that. But something weird is going on because before I go back into this, something extremely weird is going on in terms of the whole different dimensions and the multiverse, because I keep having dreams about celebrities that I don't talk to in real life. I'm friends with celebrities that I remember I sat there and I talked about on another video, if I haven't said this, how basically I went to sleep one day, I woke up in a tub with new clothes and everything on a yacht, and there's a celebrity that I know. And also, to emphasize on that, never really sat here and told anybody, but I switched places with that version of myself, and God sat there and told me that version of me, basically, that's a celebrity, he can't write anything creative to save his life. And when that happened, pretty much I told God that I wanted to go back, because I'm like, are you serious? And so we switched places for a millisecond, and that happened. So something weird is going on that I don't know about. that I don't know if it's going to be revealed like within the next 7 years, because Agenda 21 is a real thing, or what. But something strange is going on. So enough to where basically where I don't think about celebrities and whatnot, to where basically I'm talking to them, and as if I know them in real life, and something strange is going on, like I actually know them or something, or where I'm going to, it has them, but I don't know. I can't explain that type of stuff. But there's that. So I wanted to talk about that. Also wanted to sit here and talk about how the whole shift change thing, because I got to incorporate this, and even though I have dimensions, glorified bodies, and all this other stuff in my video, I am going to talk about this whole shift change thing, because this does correlate with that. I had basically went to sleep one day, God saying that you'll go to sleep one day and wake up somewhere new. I went to sleep one day, and I rolled over in my sleep, and I dozed off. Like how you doze off in class, and how you just basically go like this. I literally went to sleep one day and just dozed off. And the next thing I know, I'm on a talk show host, and I actually have a pair of black glasses in my room that are like circular glasses and everything. And I'm wearing those circular black glasses. And the next thing I know, I wake up and I'm on a talk show host, and I saw the celebrity Jimmy Fallon. I think it's either Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel. That's probably like a metaphor or something for that'll be happening when this whole shift change thing happens. But basically, I was on a talk show host, and there was a seat I was sitting in, and I was putting on my black glasses, and I basically sat there and told myself that basically it's showtime, because I thought the whole shift change thing had happened, because I've been having a lot of shift change dreams where if I don't wake up in another dimension, I'm basically conscious. I think like I'm merged with another version of myself, and I'm just basically conscious, and I wake up in that version of mine's body, and I'm famous. That's actually happened to me like almost like 5 times already. And so that happened. Woke up on a talk show host wearing black glasses, and I saw people, the bright lights and everything. I saw the bright lights. I saw people, how people sit in front of a crowd on the talk show host. Saw that whole thing. And they were interviewing me, and they were talking to me. And I remember bright as day, clear as day. And they said that, you often talked about how hard it was when your mom passed. And I also got to talk about that. Totally forgot to talk about this. And that was pretty much it. And then pretty much I left. Wanted to talk about how recently I forgot to talk about this, but under that, I guess it's the same dude whose life I saved last year. He's friends with a celebrity. I'm not going to say his name. He's friends with the celebrity. And how this basically, this happened to me like 2 weeks ago. Because when my homie dropped me off at my house, I went to sleep, and I was basically rolling over in my sleep telling God, I'm real frustrated. Time is going by fast, because, last week, today's Thursday. And I remember last week, this week I just worked on Tuesday. And then last week was Sunday. And I was telling God in my mind, because I don't talk out loud, that basically, I'm frustrated because, time is going by so fast. I can't do anything, can't relax to save my life, can't do anything, basically. And so I'm sitting there, I rolled over in my sleep, and basically it starts off that we're doing something I have 2 jobs. So at one of my jobs, they have it where you go out through the back door, and there's a cage up top and everything. And then all of a sudden, our manager is telling us basically to close the door, and a pigeon came in. I don't know, like if that's symbolic for something or what. And then when I looked outside, because our job has it where once you go through the back door, even though there's like we have like another door that you close, and there's a cage up top, you can see like outside where the sky is at. And when I looked up at the sky, I saw like this giant time portal that we were going through, if that makes like a lick of sense. If you see, like, I don't know, I can't really explain it. And so that happened, and then really come back in, and another version of me is talking to the celebrity. I'm not going to say his name. Is talking to this celebrity, and he mentioned something about how he got out of a lawsuit with him, and how basically he owed him $1 million. $1 million. Like, this is full-blown detail. I'm not making this up. He owed him $1 million. And basically, that version of me basically assaulted him. And he picked him up, he body slammed him, because pay attention to this. He sat there, insulted his mom, and he made fun of his mom, and how he said something about his mom, and he said, "You said what?" And my mom's on dialysis, and he picks him up, drops him on the floor, and I guess like he like breaks the bones in his body. And he says that, well, since you owe me $1 million, now you owe me $2 million. And basically, since $1 million is enough to basically pay for a bail, since a bail if you pay attention to bails aren't over thousands of something dollars. He sat there and said, well, then the money that you owe me, basically, you can sit here and use $1 million that you owe me to bail me out, basically. And right when that happens, I meet the celebrity in person. I'm not making this up. And also to emphasize on this, I've never heard of the word dialysis in my life. Normally when people, dialysis is basically, if you don't know, dialysis is a fancy big term for life support. I talked about how our dimensions are merging and all this other crap. Well, my phone's less than 15%, whatever. I talk about how our dimensions are merging and everything. But in real time, and I talk about how there are versions of us that are right next to us that we don't know about. Basically, in real time, my mom has, apparently my mom has cancer. My mom had to get her gallbladder removed, and she has all these health problems that are going on since she sat here and she took the mark of the beast. His mom, ironically, the comparisons, even though I'm not famous, and he is, his mom is on dialysis. And I heard that word clear as day. I don't know that word, as smart as I am. And she's on life support. So literally, as soon as he disappears, that version of me that body slammed the celebrity, he disappears, and I pop up in his place, and the celebrity sits there and says, oh, well, you must be the clone they brought in. They specifically said the words, you must be his clone. And I remember communicating with that celebrity and saying that I am not a clone. And I talked to them. I told them straight up, I am not a clone. And they were shocked. And pretty much that's when that dream ended. So, like I said before, something real strange and weird is going on. And also something is about to happen. So, I'm also not lying. I have no reason to sit here and lie about this stuff, considering the fact that I literally met myself in a car. And I met myself again recently, but whatever. So that happened. I talked about this talk show host thing. That happened, and pretty much I'm done with that segment. And pretty much I'm going to basically like glorified bodies and how something weird is going on, and how basically I'm not supposed to know all this information that I'm telling you. I'm gonna dwell into that, so I'm just go off my list. So I had a dream one day where I was like on an island, and I saw number one of the 144,000. And number one was basically a man, a grown man. I thought it was Jesus. He had a golden face and everything, and he was a man. And I also talked about, previously before in this video, how I saw number two, and number two is a man, and I'm also number 66. I used to be 1,000 something. Now I'm number 66. So that, and when I was on this island and I met number one of the 144,000, there were basically people of like in the top 100. There was number 33 and number 44, 55, and number 66. I'm number 66. And God emphasized and told me, and this is when, even though I said this previously before in my video, God sat there and told me and said that basically you could be at number 33 or 44, but you're struggling with what you're struggling with. And then pretty much my dream had ended. And I guess we were fighting something and whatnot. And so that, and then in terms of like glorified bodies and everything, hold on, let me see how, okay, yeah, I'm good. In terms of glorified bodies and everything, because I had to remember all this, I had a dream about having a glorified body. It was weird how basically I had a dream that I was in like, I wouldn't say test tube, but I was in like some cryogenic tube or something, and I came out and I took the mask off, and I got out the chamber, and basically I had a full glorified body, and I had abs, everything, didn't have belly, none of that stuff. I'm like 200 and something pounds. I'm not like 250, but like I'm right around like 230. And I was skinny, had abs and everything. That was the first time I had a glorified body dream. I had that, and then I had another dream and experience, another dream. Basically, weird stuff was going on in my dream. But while weird stuff was going on in my dream, I had this is weird. I was dreaming that I had abs in my dream, while simultaneously of me waking up in real life, I was developing abs while I was asleep, if that makes a lick of sense. So while I'm asleep, I'm being transformed as this is happening, and I'm experiencing the transformation, and I can feel abs on my body. So there's that experience. And there's also the experience of basically when I had another glorified body dream. I was on top of a helicopter. It was me, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li. And since God knows I like martial arts and all this other stuff, I guess like in terms of like how fast they are, they're like one of the like fastest martial artists, because like Bruce Lee's like extremely fast or whatever. But I saw them, we were on top of a helicopter, and God basically just showed me that out of Bruce Lee and Jet Li, in terms of physicality and like a glorified body, you're the best martial artist there is, because I like martial arts and stuff, and I read a lot of anime and manga and stuff. And God sat there and told me that you're the best martial artist out of them, basically. And, you know, dream ended. And it was actually, and to emphasize on that, it actually felt like I was on top of a helicopter and we were fighting each other and whatnot. And so that happened. And then I also had another dream where I went to sleep once again and I woke up somewhere. And when I woke up somewhere, there was like a hole in my dream that I went down, and down under was basically a dojo. And there was these Asian people sitting over there asking me, you know, do you want to train? Do you want to do martial arts and all this other stuff? And I said, yeah. And basically, a lot of time must have passed in that dream, because I had abs, everything, and I was sweating. And then basically saw an angel that looked like a celebrity I know, because angels come in different forms and whatnot, like in my dreams, like cartoons, actually angels, or people I know, or like celebrities and stuff. And basically an angel sat there and told me it's time to go. And when I woke up, I actually was sweating in my dream, because I was sweating in my dream when I was training, learning martial arts, and I was sweating as soon as I woke up. I also had a dream where, since I've talked about how Obama is the Antichrist, and he is the man prophesied in the Bible, I had a dream that I was fighting Obama, doing martial arts, and we were both drenched in sweat, and we were both sweating. And as soon as I had that dream, I woke up in real time, and I was extremely hot as soon as I woke up. And this is where, you know, basically, as if you haven't been paying attention, where basically as I'm reading all is because I just remembered that, it's getting to a point now where basically when I have a dream and when I have an experience, it is no longer, or when I have a dream or a vision, it's no longer just a random dream or a vision that God is giving me. I'm actually able to feel stuff, take stuff from my dream, and it happens in real time. Hold on, let me, okay, I'm at 13%. So something's going on once again, and my dreams are becoming realer and realer and more vivid by the day. So there was that. And then also too, this is like actually, I think this month or last month, I had felt discouraged. I was up late at night and I was watching a video. Excuse me. I was watching a video, and it's called Leap of Faith, Spider-Verse, where Miles Morales jumps off the building, and he finally realizes his calling and who he is. And while I was watching that, God came to me, and I got an open vision, you know, while I was awake. And basically, I had a vision that I said how I'm like number 66. I had a dream that I was talking to the 144,000, giving a speech, and I had 6 wings on my back, and I had a golden scepter in my hand. It was either a spear or a scepter. And I guess we were in all white, and there the Archangel Michael and Gabriel were standing right next to me. And I was giving the speech, and I said, you know, now is the time we put aside our differences. Now, what did I say? Now is the time we take back what is ours. We take back the kingdom. And now we've all lost something. We've lost so much. We've lost our family, our friends, our loved ones. Now is the time we take back what is ours. And I had that brightest day in my mind, and I didn't pray about anything at all whatsoever. Period. It just came to me. And then I also had dreams of me basically having super speed and all this other stuff and flying, duplicating myself and whatnot, which God told me I'll be able to do while watching that Miles Morales video. And that happened. And so that's it. But I also want to emphasize on what's actually going on in my life, because as much as this video is an hour, which I could care less, I want to sit here and emphasize on the fact that something is going on. I talked about years ago how when I actually used to follow somebody, not gonna mention this person's name, when I used to follow this person, I sat there and I said in one of my videos that I was up one night pretending like as if I was playing air guitar, air guitar. And basically, my room had shifted to basically where I saw tangible red curtains, and I saw one of those silver mics, how they used to do back in the day playing blues or jazz. It appeared above, hovering over my bed, and I could physically see it. Like when you sit there and you say, did I just see that? And within a blink of an eye, you think you see something, and you actually did. Well, yeah, that happened to me. Well, what's been happening to me in my room is that stuff has been appearing in my room and disappearing in my room. For example, I'm gonna post a picture of this on my community post. But I was playing air guitar in my room once again. But in my mind, because I have a clear mind, I don't think about stuff. I just listen to music and I just jam out, and that's it. And in my mind, I'm playing air guitar, and then randomly God just puts it in my mind of a white guitar, of a white guitar, plain as day. And I looked it up on Google and I found it. And it appeared in my mind. And after it appeared in my mind, I sat there and I backed up and I said, whoa, did I really just think of that? Like, where'd that come from? And then, lo and behold, there's a white guitar hovering above my bed. I'm not making this up. I used to own a guitar. For some of you who don't know, I used to own a guitar. Didn't work, threw it away. Tried selling it, couldn't sell it, threw it away. And all of a sudden, and I don't look at guitars either. I have no reason to sit here and lie. There's a white guitar hovering above my bed, and next to that is the silver microphone that appeared years ago above my bed, along with red curtains in my room. And I see this tangibly, and I always have the door shut so my mom doesn't know what I'm doing and everything. And it didn't flip me out like it did last time, because I was just like, oh wow. But it tripped me out because I sat there and said that, did something from my imagination just manifest in real life? So I want to sit there and say that, and I'll post that after I'm done with this live. I want to sit here and come out and say that since my door is shut all the time in my room, that I have people appearing in my room. I have people appearing in my room. I'm not making this up. I have no reason to sit here and make this up. My doppelganger popped up in my room when I was sleeping in my room, and I heard his voice. It had a black aura and everything. I don't know if that was like a demon using my voice or like my actual doppelganger or what, but I've seen a couple evil versions of my doppelganger, of evil versions of myself, and one of them popped up in my room, I think, because I didn't see a face. I just saw a black aura. That popped up in my room. I got God himself in my room, because I talked about, I never publicly sat here and said this, but I was watching, God knows that my favorite movie is The Sandlot. I was watching, there are certain parts of The Sandlot that I guess God wasn't watching or whatever the case it is, but I was just watching it, and I think it was like the daytime, and I noticed that basically I sat there and I said, when you feel something is in a room with you, and you can tell if it's either good or evil, well, and it was a good feeling, and I was just like, is something in my room? And something that sat here and told me that, it's either Jesus or God. So there's that. And then I also, when I was watching the Umbrella Academy season 3, which is what I want people to watch, because I talked about having a dream, basically when you meet yourself or whatever the case is, a ripple effect happens and stuff starts disappearing. Well, that happens in the Umbrella Academy season 3. So if you got Netflix, just watch it. Don't watch the first 2 seasons, none of that crap. Just watch the 3rd season and you'll see what I'm talking about. And so basically, God was watching that, and God sat there and told me that you do know that there's like 4, 5, 6 seasons of this in another world. And my mind was empty, and I have a clear mind, as I said before. I don't do that new age crap of, empty your mind, clear your mind, none of that. I have a clear mind because I used to have like a lot of bad thoughts when I was like 16, 17. And so God just sat there and told me that. And it came out of nowhere. And I was like, yo, what? And actually, it turns out that, well, some change later, that they're working on season 4 of the Umbrella Academy. But with all this stuff going on, I highly doubt that it's going to happen. And if it does happen, quote unquote, if it does happen, I don't know, can't tell you. But that happened. I remember I went to sleep one day and I saw this 7-foot, 8-foot tall Asian woman in my dream, and I just wake up from a sleep and I see this tall 7, 8-foot woman in my room smiling, and then she disappears for a millisecond. That's a full-blown person in my room. I'm actually sort of going crazy. That was a full-blown person in my room. And I've talked about before how basically, hold on. I've talked about before how somebody is watching me. God is watching me, and the devil's people are watching me, excluding this whole multiverse stuff that I just got done explaining, which is complicated as I don't know what. There are people watching me in high wicked places and also want to sit here and say this, that are watching me while I'm asleep, which is why when I wake up every late at night, why I get this weird feeling that somebody is watching me, because there is somebody that is watching me. I have woken up in my room while my door is shut with a giant serpent. This actually did happen. I remember I had sleep paralysis or whatever the case it is. I woke up with a giant serpent inches away from my face, looking me in my eyes, dead smack, and it was a black snake, dead smack in my eyes, and if it opened its mouth, it could literally swallow me whole. I used to have experiences like that when I used to do witchcraft and be the new age stuff or whatever the case is. But now that I'm fully on board with God, some change, 5, 6 years later, and I'm 27, I can officially sit here and say that somebody is watching me. Want to sit here and come out and say this also. I've also been having experiences where I go to sleep and I cannot open my eyes to save my life. It's like somebody is trying to literally blind me, and I am waking up blind. This is probably something that's going to go over. If you've made it to this video, to the end of this video, and God has allowed you to get to the end of this video, I've literally been waking up either blind or somebody has been trying to steal my memory for all the information that I know. Because it's also been apparent to me, and God has also notified me of this, is that there are people that are watching me that are saying, you are not supposed to know any of this, period. Point blank, period. You're not supposed to connect the dots like this. You're not supposed to know any of this information. You are not supposed to know any of this. And of all the people I follow on YouTube that I used to follow, and even channels that talk about conspiracies or parallel universes or whatever the case it is, they don't know this information. Somebody has brought to my attention that I talked to on the phone, and they said that you're explaining stuff that scientists can't even explain and aren't telling people, and stuff that they can't even explain to save their life. I'm not supposed to know any of this. So I say this to say that all this, if you've made it to the end of this video, you are not supposed to know any of this at all whatsoever. And I'm actually posting my community post, the truth about what's really going to happen, so you can share that to whoever the case it is, and share it to them, because what's about to happen is about to really flip people out, and something that not even I can explain. When God sat there and said in Habakkuk, I would do something in your time that not even you will believe, even if you were told. All these experiences that I've told you and sat here and told you, I can't even believe that this is happening, because I can sit here and go to sleep, and the next thing I know, I'm going somewhere. God is taking me to another dimension. God is showing me this. God is showing me that. God shows me, I'm not going to say his favorite places to go, because that's between me and God. God has shown me certain places where he likes to go. So there you go. Also, I also forgot to mention this too in my video where I said early on in my video where I was merging dimensions and all this other stuff, and there's like percentages in my head, saw like a map in my mind and everything, and my brother, how he was like an intellectual after he killed himself. Another thing that popped up in my mind recently, thank God, praise God, I actually got through this, was that what Mother of God, what was it? What was it? What was it? It was basically the fact of God could, but God knows that I want to draw, that I like drawing, I like art. I actually collect art. And that's how I run my own clothing line and stuff. And basically, God sat there and told me that there is a version of you out there that is a comic book artist and knows how to draw, but I can't take you there and put you there because this goes back into basically merging with each other, merging realities and stuff, which I can't explain that. That's why I basically put those movies that are in my community posts, which you can just scroll through my timeline and whatnot. Well, I've put it there of basically saying that, this stuff explains how the shift change is going to happen and how we're going to basically merge with realities and merge with each other and all this other stuff. But basically, God sat there and told me that I can't take you to the world where basically you're a comic book artist, because basically the world that exists where you're a comic book artist currently, even though everything's fine right now in our world, over there in his world, there's economic turmoil that's going on, and there's chaos, and there's poverty, and a lot of other stuff. So, and I actually experienced that for like a split millisecond, then it got to the point in my experience, and I actually went there. And so God sat there and told me, I can't put you there, so I have to basically put you in the world where basically you're famous, where you're a musician and you're famous. And if anything happens to that person, because they are trying to kill that version of me, which, wrapping this up around how I'm not supposed to know any of this, God is protecting them. And also, at the same time, when God sat there and told me that, because I heard a voice in my house saying that you're not supposed to know any of this, because they know God is talking to me. That's why, and they explain this in Doctor Strange, Everything Everywhere All at Once. What else was there? A couple other movies, and even a couple other movies where they go out and they kill different and even Jet Li's the one where they go out and kill different versions of themselves. That's basically what the devil's people or the Men in Black are doing. They're basically trying to sit there and kill off versions of me, because they know I know all this information, and they know that basically pretty much that I've explained this before in my previous video, the truth about what's going to happen, that pretty much how it works is that once, my mom's about to come in the house, once pretty much all this stuff, that literally there's a ripple effect that goes on with different versions of yourself and different timelines and whatnot. So there's that. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh my God. There's that. And is there anything else that the Holy Spirit wants me to sit here and say? There's that. And I also want to emphasize on the end of the video that, in terms of celebrities that are randomly appearing and reappearing, that are supposedly supposed to be dead and aren't dead, want to emphasize on this. That's God basically bringing them back to, I wouldn't say he's not bringing them back to life, but that's God basically putting people from different universes in our dimension. Once again, to show, to let people sit here and understand, what's going on and what's happening. And in terms of that, so you're not crazy when you sit here and you say, like, isn't this celebrity supposed to be dead? I thought they were dead. Well, they were dead, but since CERN is doing what they're doing and God is using it to his advantage, God is bringing, replacing them with different people. In which case, if something were to happen to me, and if I were just to sit here and switch places with somebody else, another version of myself, you wouldn't notice. So, vast majority of people, even though people have taken the mark of the beast while they're still human, most people don't notice that these celebrities are coming from different worlds, and the multiverse is real and exists. That's why I post these experiences of people saying, the black guy that sat there and said he saw he saw his mailman, and then he saw another version of his mailman when he was leaving. People talking about 2 pairs of shoes, that glitch in the matrix stuff I talked about in my community post. Different stuff, different stories, how people have been noticing that, once they go in the bathroom and they take a piss for 2-3 minutes, that all of a sudden 2 hours have passed, and their son is sitting over there saying that, I'm playing the game with my homie, with my friend at his house, at our house or somewhere else, and lo and behold, suddenly, randomly, out of nowhere, 2-3 hours just passed, and that's what's happening. Also want to sit here and say that, yes, something is happening, and I also just remembered this, because when I was with my homie, because my mom's car wasn't working one day, And my homie can justify on this, and he's a witness, that when he picked my mom up from work, because we had to go get her, and then he dropped her off at her house, basically, we're driving back, and randomly out of nowhere, there's 3 different colors in the sky, a strip. I can't even find it. I wish I would have taken a picture. But we all know what the color of the sun looks like when it's setting. So it was orange. It was orangish as the sun was going down. There was blue in the middle, I think, and then there was black in the middle, black up top. So it's orange, black. It's orange, blue, and black. The 3 different layers in the sky. And I saw this. I'm not tripping. Me and my homie, we saw this, and I was thinking, I'm like, yo, like, and this wasn't just like in one Pacific area, like how there are videos now of, another, to emphasize on the fact that we are emerging realities, because it's now become a reoccurring thing that basically people are starting to see more than one sun in the sky. And so me and my homie, we saw this, and I was thinking in my mind when I was with my homie while he was driving, I was saying that, like, yo, like, this is weird. And he sat there and said, this simulation, glitch in the matrix, whatever the case it is, but it's not a glitch in the, well, it's not a glitch in the matrix. It's not a simulation. This is happening. Pay attention to the signs and wonders in the sky, because that means that Jesus is coming. And, everybody saw this. This wasn't just like some thing that we saw and me and my homie saw in one area. This is like, if you would have drove around the area where he was driving, you could see this all around the sky where it was happening in the state of Georgia. So that, and I also want to sit here and say that the minute something like, if this does happen, if you see something like me reappear and disappear on live stream, or I start glitching on camera, or whatever the case it is, it's not a glitch in the matrix. It's not a simulation. Stay away from that word, simulation, because that gets into simulation theory, where people sit here and say travel down the rabbit hole. When you travel down the rabbit hole, you start, I'm not going to talk about the dark stuff you discover. Stay away from the rabbit hole. I wouldn't say stay away from the rabbit hole, but you'll start coming across words like simulation. It's this new age term where people sit here and say that, everything is illusion, nothing is real, and this gets in the term of nihilism. Nihilism basically is the term that basically there is no meaning in life. Life means nothing. Life is pointless, and all you're meant to do is just work. Is just you're born and you die. Stay away from that word. If you hear anybody sit here and say that reality is a simulation, reality is not a simulation. If when you see death and murder going on right now, that, oh my God, that is not a simulation. So I just wanted to emphasize on that, because now my phone has reached the point where it's 5%. But hope you got something out of this. Comment on this. I would suggest that you comment on this. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on the notification button. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm Paul Truther. Don't hit me up on Instagram at all, period. I already get enough messages on Instagram. Don't hit me up on Instagram. And you can reach me here on YouTube. And you can also hit me up on Facebook. Have a blessed day. Hope you got something out of this. I gotta see. Hold on. Okay.